genre, Regency, sort of Scottish thing that we have ready for you. But I think you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot. Okay, guys? And I have my readers. And if you close your eyes, it's just like a radio play. Serious stuff, people, serious stuff. Her head was spinning. The passion was so strong. Agnes gasped as his tongue gently parted her lips and entered her mouth. He tasted of mead and honey.
Oh, Cormac!
She breathed. She grew drunk on his kisses, fluttering her hands against his tunic. She didn't know whether she wanted to pull him closer or push him away. A cool breeze from the open window tickled her bare nipples, startling her out of her impassioned haze. She looked down to see she was naked to her waist. Panic set in.
Nay, we mustn't!
She cried.
Ach, aye, lass, truly we must.
He pleaded. She couldn't think straight. Again, his lips came down on hers with a fiery need.
Oh!
She sighed. She never felt this drunk when her lover gave him his cold kisses. She slid her hand down Cormac's torso, marveling the warm strength she could feel beneath the linen. He grabbed her hand, pausing her exploration, and removed his tunic. His eyes bore into hers, dark with lust, as he put her hand back on his stomach. She traced a long scar down to the band of his kilt. She was mesmerized by his manliness and shit.
Agnes.
He growled as he grabbed her and carried her to the bed. His mouth came down on her nipple and she cried out.
Oh, Lord, surely it is wicked.
In surprised pleasure. She never felt such sweet, delicious sensations. He pulled the rest of her garments off and paused, drinking in the sight of her lying naked before him, her eyes filled with need.
Verily, your beauty humbles me, lass.
He said as he removed his kilt. His throbbing members stood at attention. Her breath caught as she took in his full nakedness.
Nay, fear not, sweetling. I'll not plunder your treasure. 'Twill be a pleasure for us both.
He said with a devilish grin as he explored her lady bits with his fingers. She felt a pressure begin to build, growing stronger with each deft move of his fingers. She felt that she would die if she didn't explode.
Are you ready, sweetling?
He growled in her ear.
Aye, I believe so.
She sighed. She reached down and felt his member. It was a puzzling thing, blazing hot, hard as steel and yet soft like velvet. She was fascinated by it. She explored its full length, cupping the sacks at the base until he grunted and stopped her investigation.
You're about to undo me, lass,
He said through gritted teeth. She arched her body towards his, silently begging for release. He entered her slowly at first, and then pulled back and shoved inside like he was attacking a fort. She cried out in shock at the sudden change. She felt a small pain, but it quickly passed.
Are you all right? Was the breaching too painful, sweetling?
He asked, pausing in his movement.
Aye.
She nodded and moved her hips. She could feel the pressure building again as she started to move within her. It felt as if she was drowning in a sea of pleasure. Wave after wave crashed over her. She couldn't catch her breath. She grabbed hold of him to anchor herself. His breathing grew labored. His movements grew quicker. The pressure became too much. She cried out.
Cormac, I can't bear it anymore. I can't.
And finally, she exploded in pleasure. And he cried out too as he reached release. Oh. He collapsed on top of her, a hot, sweaty mess, and soon began snoring. This is an installation that we may continue. We call it The Good Bits, where we will be reading to you the good bits of Luna L'Enfant's romance novels. And I hope that you enjoyed it and learned a little bit.